failures to lessons, losing ain't an option, waiting on my blessings. Turn my failures to lessons, losing ain't an option, waiting on my blessings. I'm crying out, can't hold it in, gotta stay the course, we supposed to win. Done seen it all, it's time to prosper, elevate, it's time to prosper. The world at your neck like a violin, instruments of cruelty gon' be the end. Satan gon' knock but don't let him in. We born in a battle that'll never cease. I believe, I believe, I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. We ghetto dreaming projects full of broken hearts, picking up the pieces, this is just a start. Somewhere there's a flower trying to bloom out the concrete. I left a trail full of dry petals, trying to spark the mind and not the barrel. If I can't smell, I got my light blush. Things of the world don't entice us. If she loyal, God-fearing, then you wife her. We the chosen, you can't sign her. World for the meek, this is all us. Earth having labor pains, soon it's a due day. Yeah. Earth having labor pains, soon it's a due day. Yeah. Gotta keep the faith, cause that's all we got. Gotta keep holding on. Endure till the chariots dry. You're not alone, keep staying strong. Gotta keep the faith, cause that's all we got. Gotta keep holding on. Endure till the chariots dry. You're not alone, keep staying strong. Gotta keep the faith, stay on fire, never cease. Holding on with a peace while he tryna find peace. Saved by hope, tryna see the broader scope. We was washed by the word and I ain't talk about so. Steadfast to the end, don't break, never bend. Gotta have works, all you dead. We labor for love, be strong, send my prayers above. We come from kings, but they told us we thugs. Used to look at my brother with mugs, now I greet him with hugs. Gotta endure, even know that we been through enough. We got chosen when they doubted us. Most High open doors when it ain't adding up. Believing in the faith is what we stand on. Rhythm of my life, singing the same song. Pray without ceasing, run this race without wheezing. Keep believing, our salvation nearer than we thinking. Gotta keep the faith, cause that's all we got. Gotta keep holding on. Endure till the chariots dry. You're not alone, keep staying strong. Gotta keep the faith, cause that's all we got. Gotta keep holding on. Endure till the chariots dry. You're not alone, keep staying strong. Gotta have patience and endure it in these last days. An early death when you living in that fast lane. Pressing towards the mark, pushing well beyond pain. We one body, but we focus on the same thing. Iron sharpen iron until we get it right. Keep my faith strong, seeing things that's out of sight. Contending for the faith, we all brothers, we ain't gotta fight. Let your light shine, giving vision to the next. Renewal on my mind, giving all my best. Gotta know that this life is just a test. Live up in the spirit, not the flesh. Stood up on my feet, got wisdom in my breath. Warrior mindset, I'm a servant of the Lord. Gotta keep the faith, cause that's all we got. Gotta keep holding on. Endure till the chariots dry. You're not alone, keep staying strong. Gotta keep the faith, cause that's all we got. Gotta keep holding on. Endure till the chariots dry. You're not alone, keep staying strong.
Ya Baraka, Ya Baraka, Yahweh, Yahweh, Waya Shamaka, Waya Shamaka, Yahweh, 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 Panyawa Al Yak, Panyawa Al Yak, Waya Khanka, Waya Khanka, Yahweh, Yahweh. Yasha'a Yahweh, Yasha'a Yahweh, Panyawa al Yaka, Panyawa al Yaka, Wayasham, Wayasham, Laka Shalom, Laka Shalom, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Barak Rapah, Barak Rapah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, Barak Rapah, Barak Rapah, Yasha Allah, Yasha Allah.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom, brother.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and let's like it. Go ahead.
Nah, you good. I'm ready for you.
Yeah, I was just gonna open up with this precept really quick. This is Mark chapter 12 and verse 29. And Yahushua answered him, the first of all commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
Shema Yashala Yahweh Allahaya Nawa Yahweh Akkad. Amen.
Amen.
Let's get started, brothers. All right, so today's class, we going into faith, the examples of faith. We are in the last days where faith is very important to have. It's a characteristic. It's a tool. It's something that's supposed to help you in these last days. Even to get to the kingdom, you got to have faith. Even to please the Most High, you got to have faith. So it's just something that we have to work on in these last days. That faith is a very strong suit for us, and it's a tool. And it's not just it's something that's spooky. It's not something that's something that's scary. It's something that me and you supposed to have. So with that being said, we're gonna go into some scriptures about faith. And if you're struggling with your faith, hopefully this will help you out in these last days. Hopefully be edified. And I want to say shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there that's watching, hearing. They took their time out to even hear this lesson. So we're gonna go into this lesson. The title is called Examples of Faith. Okay. We know that in the scriptures, all through the New and the Old Testaments, there's examples of a lot of our forefathers presenting or showing faith, and great examples of faith that we could follow, faith that we can model after, something we could take notes from and really learn from the blueprint, right? Just because you got faith doesn't mean that you're going to make it. And a lot of times we think faith, is that we're going to get there. But sometimes faith is knowing that there's something more going on outside of yourself, and knowing that you might not get there to see it, but you know that you are you're helping to lay that brick to something that's bigger than you, right? So sometimes you got to believe more than just in yourself or what's going on around you, but believe that the Most High is doing things behind the scenes, because he's been doing things behind the scenes since the creation of this earth, right? So we just got to understand that too. And we're going to go into some scriptures, right? I just want to go into the first slide is faith. The Hebrew word is amawan. I'm going to go into the Strong's definition of faith, okay? Can you see my screen?
Yeah. We can see it. If you could zoom in a little bit more to the specific piece of the definition that you want.
Maybe just could read a little bit of it, maybe down to right here.
You want just right there at the meaning?
Yeah, just the definition and the meaning.
Okay, the meaning of definition. So it says faith, belief, trust, confidence, fidelity.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, meaning faith, belief, trust, confidence, fidelity, faithfulness.
Wow. So faith is having the confidence and the belief in something more than what's going on around you that you cannot see, right? And we're gonna go into that. And so that's what the word faith means in the Hebrew word. What is faith? And we're gonna break that down. We're gonna go into Hebrews 11:1.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen."
God.
Verse
So
2.
so faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So the evidence is having it in your mind, knowing that it's something more to the eye, having that intuition of knowing that, what, it's something else going on out here that I can't control. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's going to transpire that I can't control, right? But you have the evidence in your mind and your spirit and your heart, knowing that it's something else going on that you cannot see, right? And we're going to break this word down, substance, okay?
The definition of the word substance, a fundamental characteristic or part or quality.
So it's a fundamental characteristics, part or quality. This is a characteristics that you want to have in these last days that's going to help you endure, that's going to help you in your troubles, that's going to help you strive to the next level in life, to reach your goals, to be successful, whatever you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? This is the characteristics that you have to have in the fundamental. A fundamental is the basics, right? When you go into the sports world or you play basketball or football, you got to learn the fundamentals before you can even get out there and contend, right? So you got to learn the fundamentals of faith. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the fundamentals down to strive in this faith, to defend the faith, right, you're going to be taken out. And that's why it's important to understand what is faith and understand how you're supposed to magnify and really, get your faith stronger. Okay, keep going.
Definition 2, a ultimate reality that underlies all outward manifestations and change.
Mm-hmm.
Practical importance.
Go to number 3A. It says physical material from which something is made or which has a discrete existence. Mm-hmm. Right. So faith has it's a substance to it. It's not just a word. You know what I'm saying? Faith actually forms into something that hardens. You know what I'm saying? If you have an idea or if you have a vision and you stick with that vision and have faith with that vision, eventually that reality is going to come to surface. You know what I'm saying? So if you can stick with that vision and you can stick with your faith, that reality will harden. That faith will harden into reality. Okay, so you go back to the slide. You can read that. You can read it over again.
Come on. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report.
We're just going to break down that word evidence real quick.
The word evidence, an outward sign, something that furnishes proof. One who witnesses, especially one who voluntarily confesses a crime and testifies for the prosecution against one's accomplices.
Read number 2.
One who bears witness.
You can stop right there. So when we all came into this truth, the scripture said the spirit bears witness, right? So that's another sign that you have faith. Like you wouldn't be in this truth if you didn't have any faith. So, it's important to know that too, is that, when your spirit bears witness, that means you're believing in something that you cannot see, but you feel it in your spirit, knowing that there's something else going on that you just can't, that's beyond your mind is beyond what you could believe. You know what I'm saying? But we all came into the truth off of faith, and our spirit bear witness, and that's why we're here today. Trying to magnify the Lord, follow these commandments. You know what I'm saying? Brotherhood, all these other aspects that you get coming into this truth. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the slide. Having faith in creation. Okay, I want you to go to Romans chapter 1:20, because sometimes when you have a lack of faith, you don't realize the things around you is enough for you to look and see that the creation that the Most High have made, the earth, the birds, the trees, the things that you see on an everyday basis, that should be enough for you to understand that that's something more going on, and the Creator is behind all this, right? So we gotta believe in the creation, because once you believe in the creation, that will strengthen in your faith from a jump. And we know us coming into this truth and being in Christianity, or coming up in the school system, they say that the world was created by the Big Bang Theory and all this other these lies and stuff. So once you understand and you really understand creation, then you understand that you could believe in something more that's that you cannot see. So you go to Romans chapter 1:20.
It's the book of Romans chapter 1:20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen.
So you can for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, saying that you could see the things outside. You could see the moon, the stars, the birds, the trees. You breathe every day. The ground grows fruit, vegetables. Like, these are the things that you could see from the beginning of creation. Okay, go ahead.
Being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse.
So you don't have no excuses not to believe, because you can see God's creation every day. You can see his hands been on everything that you see, and by you having a lack of faith, you don't understand God's creation. But you got to understand God's creation, because he created you. He created everything around you. And you have to believe in that. All right. Go to John chapter 1, 1-3. Next verse.
This is the book of John chapter 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All right. So we know that Yahawashi is the Word. Okay. Keep reading.
The same was in the beginning with God.
So the same, Yahawashi was in the beginning with God. Okay. Go ahead.
All things were made by him, and without him.
So that him was Yahawashi, right? Go ahead.
All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made.
So when you look around, without the Most High, and without him sending his son to basically spread this word, because he is the word, you wouldn't see a lot of this stuff around us, and the Most High created all these things by the word, right? So word have a big value in your life. Watch what you say, watch what you speak. You got to speak life. You got to speak positivity into your life for things to change. You got to have faith and speak faith into your life for things to harden into fact, right? So the Most High gave us that ability, just like he created the earth, just like he created the moon, the stars, so we have to understand the value in our words as well. We got to understand the value in the words that we read, because by reading the word is where we gain our faith. You understand? So you can go to the next scripture. Right?
It's the book of Hebrews chapter 11:3. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God.
So we understand through the faith, we understand that the worlds plural, that is different worlds out here, right? And it was framed by the word of God. So God used his words to create the things that we see today. And he named them, and that's what he wanted. He's the architect of all this, right? Keep reading.
So that things which are seen were not made of the things which do appear.
God. And that's plain upon tables. Is, you got to understand that the Most High created all this, and we got to understand that Yahweh Shah is the Word. And once we magnify that word, and once we have faith in that word, things can change in our life. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to magnify that you got to speak life, and you got to speak positivity, and you got to think positive, and believe in yourself, and believe in the Most High, that he's going to open up some doors for yourself, and things will change, right? But with a lack of faith, you won't get nowhere. All right, we go to 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and 1.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 6 and verse 1. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Zion were hot, and ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed, that they have gathered faith for a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other.
God, so he's just explaining to you that he is the architect, and he designed all this that you see around you. And if you don't have faith in that, then something's wrong with you. Maybe you need to do some more praying, and asking the Lord to reveal himself to you, or you need to work on your faith and build up your faith, because you could look around and see that the Most High had his hands in all this, right? You wake up every day, you breathe. I have a saying, if you ever need a reason, just breathe. You know what I'm saying? If you ever need a reason to believe, just take a breath. And that should be enough for you right there, right? How are you breathing? How can you see? You have a mind to think. He give you ideas. He give you creativity. He give you dreams and aspirations, right? He give you strength, but he also can tear you down and break you down, and really test you as well, and test your faith, right? So we're gonna go to the next slide, right? Because faith is the foundation of all this, right? The foundation to your life, the foundation to your walk, to your ministry. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have any faith in these last days, it's gonna be hard for you to please the Most High, and you have to trust him. I mean, that's point blank. You have to trust in him and believe, right? And it's the essential fruit that you need in these last days for you to survive. That's the minerals that you need, and that's where you're gonna gain your strength from, and keep hoping for something that you cannot see, but knowing that things will change for you, and knowing that things will change for the nation of Israel as a whole, and that we will get out of this captivity, we get out of this oppression that we are in, and that this place will be destroyed. You have to have faith in that too as well. All right. Go to this next slide. You can go ahead and read that out.
I got you. To grasp the beginnings of creation, it requires just two essentials: eyesight and a thoughtful mind. Paul suggests that by merely observing the world around us, we can gather sufficient insights to recognize the presence of an everlasting creator. Our observations of the world provide us with a foundational understanding of a divine creator. The Bible offers deeper insights into how the Most High created the universe through the spoken word. Faith embraces both aspects. It values the clarity found in our observations, while depending on the scriptures for the truths that are not visible.
So we just have to believe and understand that, you know, the Most High is a divine creator. The things that He created is for our well-being. It's for our good, and we have to understand that. You know, we got to understand the value in it and embrace it, and use it as fuel in these last days, and focus on the things that we cannot see. Sometimes you have to focus on the things that you cannot see, and the things that you can see. That's not hope, right? The things that's in front of you. All right, that's you can't have faith for the things that's in front of you. You got to have faith for things that you cannot see. That's not in your grasp. That's not in your reach. All right. So we're gonna go into this next phase. All right. It goes into how to please the Lord, because without having faith, it's going to be hard to please the Lord in these last days. So we're gonna go into some few scriptures to understand how to please the Lord, because that's our main objective. We want to make the Lord happy. We want to make the Lord to say he's pleased with your actions. He's pleased with your work, right? We don't want to turn our back on the Lord, or not listen to the Lord, and not put our whole heart in the Lord, and put our burdens on the Lord in these last days, because we're going to go through some hard times. I mean, it might be pleasant now. We might have everything we need, but it might be a time where we might not have anything, and we have to defend our faith in these last days, right? And that's what we're going to go into tonight. Are you willing to defend your faith? Are you willing to stand up for your faith and not give in and not let it override you, that the things that's going on in this world? Because it's going to be hard for you. And without you having that characteristics and leaning on your fundamentals, be able to depend on your crossover, to use that backboard, right? To know how to bounce pass, to do all these other things that you need to do, right? To get through to the next level, right? So you have to lean on your fundamentals. Everything in life, you have to lean on your fundamentals. You know, before we leave the house, before we left our parents' home, it was certain fundamentals that we had to utilize to be successful out here in this world, right? And that's what the same thing we have to do with our faith, is just remember the fundamentals. Okay, I'm gonna go to this next slide. Go ahead to Hebrews 11:6.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a reward.
Read that again, because that's heavy. Read that one more time.
Okay. But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
It is impossible to please him. So without faith, you cannot please the Lord. And I think that's our main objective, is to please the Lord. So if you're struggling with your faith, if you're struggling to lean on your faith and not your own understanding, you're not pleasing the Lord. If you find yourself doubting yourself, if you find yourself wondering where you're going to get your next meal from, wondering where you're going to get your next check from, right? You don't doubt yourself. Just believe in the Lord. Have faith that the Most High is going to bring it to pass, right? When you start doubting, that's overriding your faith. So when you doubt, just think about your faith. Go back to the fundamentals, you know, and lean on your fundamentals. Look around you and realize that the Most High created all this. Why am I stressing out? If the Most High created this, he's the creator of all things, then I must put my burdens and really lean on the Lord and seek the Lord, because he's the only one that's going to be able to guide me out of this. All right, keep going.
You're on mute, Goofy Sucker.
But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
Huh.
For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
God, so you want to be rewarded for the things, for your faith, you know. And like I said, faith is just not a word. Faith is a substance, right? It forms into something, right? And if you could diligently seek the Lord and have faith, he's going to reward you on what you're seeking, right? But you have to present it to him. You got to put it out, put it all on the table. sometimes we be stuck in our pride that we just don't want to talk to the Lord and ask the Lord to show us the way. We'd rather put our trust in man, put our trust in things that don't help us. But the Most High has the solution. The scriptures have the solution. And we just got to keep our faith strong in these last days and diligently seek the Lord. Go to the next scripture.
Salakia, could you go into that definition of diligent?
You got that up, Ayat?
Yeah, I got you.
Khan. Because that's a heavy word, you know.
So the word diligence, careful and persistent work or effort.
Khan. So it's like you very, when you being diligent, you careful on how you move, you careful how you think, you careful how the things that you blurt out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? If you want to break that down, go ahead. I know you probably got something to say. Go ahead.
So yeah, I just wanted to add on that word diligent is getting back to the heart of the being circumspect in your heart about what you, like you say, those actions, and being earnest about the efforts that you're actually putting in when you're talking about faith. Because I guess when I think about faith in this sense, you know, that's heavy because our heart is so corrupt. I mean, even Jeremiah says that the heart is deceitful. So to try to seek God, you really have to have the pure intentions behind really wanting to be that which God wants you to be. You really have to pursue him in such an innocent, childlike form that it's almost unimaginable because you're grown and you've seen horrors of life now, you know? And so to get back into that mind state of being adult, but yet acting like a child for the aspect of reaching the Most High so that he understands that, hey, I'm coming to you with the fullness of my, whatever I got, of the portion you've given me, to believe that what thou hast said thou will do, or what I want thou will do, you know. But that's all I wanted to touch on was that I appreciate you.
No problem. And that's fire, you know. And you just, you know, sometimes you gotta humble yourself with the Most High and really, really wipe away all your pride. You gotta come with a clear mind when you're talking to the Most High. You know, you can't be a scattered brain and be overthinking. You know, when you overthink things, that's when you second guess yourself. So you know, you just gotta, you know, like that's another characteristic is being diligent. You know what I'm saying? You know, write that word down. You know what I'm saying? And try to stay diligent in these last days. You know what I mean? We're going to go to the next slide. That was powerful, brother. Go to Isaiah. Where we at? Give me Sirach chapter 2 and verse 6.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse number 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
God. So you have to believe in the Most High, and he will help thee. If you searching for help and you looking for somebody else to help you, they're not gonna help you. I mean, you know, we have brothers and sisters in the truth in the body that for sure will reach their hands out and help you if you need it. But there's gonna be a time where, you know, you're gonna have to call on the Lord, you know, and he's the only one that's gonna see you through it. And the Most High is going to give you that vision. He's going to give you that understanding of what you need to do in your life. He's going to order your way right. He's going to guide you and correct you and put you on a certain path that you need to be on. Sometimes we think it's just the path that we want, but it's not really our path, right? It's our own understanding, but the Most High is putting you, it's directing you this way, right? And you got to understand where the Most High is directing you. You understand? And realize that it's not about what you want, but it's what the Most High wants. And you're not here for your own well-being, but you're here to be a servant of the Most High and actually please the Most High. And what pleases the Most High is you seeking Him. He wants you to actually seek Him diligently, like we just said, and put everything down on the table, just like a child depend on his parents, depend to feed them, to clothe them, to put a roof over their head. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the same way how we have to come to the Lord. It's the same way how our children needs us to guide them, to let them know, to give them direction, and let them know, I think you might want to go this way, son, because I see these qualities in you. I understand you might want to do that, but this is the direction you might need to go in because I don't think you're seeing it, right? So we might see things in our children that, they might not see in themselves, right? And that's what the Most High does. He sees something in you. He sees something valuable in you, something that you could offer the world and something that pleases Him, all right? Right? So we have to stay focused on that, all right? And trust in the Lord. We go to the next verse.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 26 and verse 3. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee.
So we just have to keep our mind focused on the Lord. I think I said this in my last class, is that you just got to stay occupied in the word. You got to stay occupied in the Lord at all times. That's the only way you're going to be able to withstand the fiery darts that Satan going to throw at you, to erase the doubt, to wipe away the frustration and the lack of faith that you have in yourself, right? So we just got to continue seeking Him and stay on the path, because He's going to provide you with that perfect peace, right? But you got to trust, and trust and faith go hand in hand. Okay, go to the next verse. You're on mute,
Salakia. It's the book of Romans, chapter 10 and verse 17. So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
So the only way you're going to build your faith, right, is by seeing and by hearing. You can hear the word. You can hear the stories, or the ups and downs of our forefathers. You can find faith in that, right? So the only way you're going to build your faith is by reading this word, because there's so much information in these scriptures that should inspire you, right? It should inspire you to get up, to do something more. It should inspire you to be a better leader. It should inspire you to motivate others. It should inspire you to want to wake up the nation of Israel, right? But the only way you're going to be able to have that, to get that strength, is by reading the word. You have to seek the word. You have to seek the Lord diligently every day, meditate on this word day and night, and get into them scriptures, because that's the only way. There's nothing else out here for us. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else out here that's going to help us but this word, right? And we've been blessed to have this word, and we must understand that, and have faith in it. We came to this truth and we've been woken up. Now we got to have faith, and don't doubt yourself, right? Because you are in this truth for a reason, right? So you got to keep fighting for this truth, and you got to fight for your faith every day. Next verse out.
It's the book of Galatians, chapter 3 and verse 2. This only would I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law, or by the hearing of faith?
So you got to understand that, the works of the law is going to guide you and help you too. But also the hearing of the faith, it should inspire you as well. You should be able to find one prophet, one book in the Bible to inspire you, right? It should give you some type of faith to go out and be something more than who you are, right? It should get you on your feet. It should put some fire in you to want to go out and be a righteous man and a righteous woman. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that that's gonna keep you to the only way you're gonna keep striving and become a better person is to stay in this word and meditate on it day and night. All right. But you have to hear the word. You got to have the ears to hear. And sometimes we be so clouded in our thoughts, so clouded in everyday living, we just don't want to hear what the Most High has to say. Right. But that's not faith. If you're not hearing, right, if you clouding your ears and clouding your judgment, that's not faith. Right. So you have to stay clear-minded, sober-minded, as the scriptures say, and really focus on the Lord. But you have to have a clear mind in these last days. That's another characteristic that you have to have. Be sober-minded. All right. Go to the next scripture out.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Wherefore, as the Holy Spirit saith, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation in the day of the temptation in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me, proved me, and saw my works 40 years. Wherefore I was grieved with that generation, and said, they do always err in their heart, and they have not known my ways. So I swear.
Keep going. Go ahead and finish it.
So I swear in my wrath that they shall not enter into my rest. Take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living God.
So, we understand that when we was in the wilderness, that we doubted the Most High. We didn't believe in the Most High, and the Most High showed us all these signs, and he did all these things and his glorious things for us, took us out of bondage, right? And we still did not believe in the Most High. We had a hardened heart, right? We wanted to do what we wanted to do, and we just got to understand we don't want to continue to live in that curse. We trying to break the curses, and the only way we're going to be able to break the curses and not keep going through what we've been going through as a nation as a whole, right? We have to change the way we think, and we have to change the way we approach the Most High. We have to believe in the Most High, because we could be that same generation that will get that we just don't understand the Most High, So we have to lean on our faith and understand that it's up to us to change that, or we will be like that same generation. All right, and we have to know that, you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna be in that same condition one day. The Most High might test us. The Most High might take us out of this comfortability that we in, and we're gonna have to lean on the Lord. You know what I mean? And we can't doubt. And we have to believe that he's gonna guide us, he's gonna lead us, and he's gonna provide for us, just like he did in the wilderness. All right. We go to the next verse out.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and the Lord shall give her unto thee.
Playing upon tables. All right, so we need to look for wisdom, and the Most High is going to give you and provide you everything that you need to have that knowledge, to understanding, to be able to navigate in this life, to be able to navigate through certain situations and overcome these trials and tribulations that we will face and that we're trying to overcome. Okay. All right, so we're going to go into this next slide. Noah's faith and God's warning. All right. So the title of the lesson is basically examining the examples of faith, right? And we understand that Noah was a pillar of faith as well as Abraham, all right? So we gonna go into just quickly how Noah stayed strong. We're not gonna read every precept, but I'll advise everybody to go ahead and read all through Hebrews 11, that whole chapter. The world calls it the Hall of Faith, but I wanted to switch the title up a little bit because I think everybody uses the Hall of Faith, and basically they're saying that these are the ones that stand strong and the ones that stands out when it comes to faith. All right. Just like you have the Hall of Fame, you got Jordan, you got Larry Bird, you know what I'm saying? All these good players that's in the Hall of Fame, right? Basically, that's what Hebrews 11 is going into all the stories of our forefathers standing on faith. Okay, but we're gonna go into Noah, and how he didn't faint and how he stayed focused on the Lord. All right. Now you don't have to read every precept out. I mean, you can go through the ones you want to go through, but you don't have to read it because we got a lot to go through. But I just wanted to show some highlights of where they can see and read about the what was going on with Noah and the things that he had to overcome. But if you want to go into a few of them, you can.
I think that Genesis 6 is probably 14 through 16 is probably that's probably pretty crucial.
Let's do that then.
Your note that you have there, it says obedience to build the ark. God gave Noah specific instructions to build the ark. Genesis chapter 6 and verse number 14, it says, make thee an ark of gopher wood, rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shall pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion which thou shalt make it of. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it shall be 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. And I thought that would be crucial off the strength of obedience, because how you gonna have faith in the Most High, but you're not obedient to the Most High.
Right? And that's a crucial thing, is because the Most High is telling you to make this a certain way. And Noah didn't have any doubt in himself to like, why you wanted me to measure it this way? You want it this tall, you want it this way. Like, he didn't doubt. He just said, all right, let me go ahead and make this the way the Most High wanted it. And sometimes the Most High is going to give you he's going to give you a vision. He's going to give you something that you have to accomplish in this time. It might not be on a magnitude of Noah, but it'll be on a magnitude of like, you have to listen to the Most High, right? And that's something that you got to have in these last days. And if you got something to say, go ahead.
Kind of also to plan on what you said, it kind of goes into that second point you have up there, like, and a point that you just made is that sometimes well, for Noah specifically, he just was basically like, come on, Lord, right? And the Most High gave him instructions that may have been hard to be understood, but he followed through, right? But like your second point, it says, despite likely being mocked by others, Noah obeyed without question, right? Even though he may not have understood, even though, the people around him may not have understood why you building this large water vehicle, what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it anyway, right?
And it's crazy too, is that the people that was around him did not understand, and he did not understand. So right. he's getting mocked for something that he don't even understand, but he just have to follow it through.
That's what I'm saying? I was just finna say that. I was like, the brother don't even know what he doing.
Right.
You ain't used to the type of weather that's finna come, and the Lord like, hey, I need you to do this.
Yeah.
Hey, that's some strong faith.
Right. And it's just powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like it says, salvation through faith. When the flood came, Noah and his family and the animals were saved in the ark. And it's like, it never rained in this time period. And they don't know what he's warning the people at the same time, letting them know what's to come, and nobody wants to hear it. Like you said, they're mocking him. No one wants to believe. So it was a lack of faith then. And Noah was probably the only man and the only family that was on the face of the earth at that moment in time that had faith. And that's another scripture that I wanted to go into, if you can, is Matthew 24:37. All right, because the Most High said that in the last days it's going to be like the days of Noah. you know. And if you don't have the faith and stand on your faith, and you're gonna be taken out just like in the time of Noah, right? So we are in the time of Noah when it comes to just the nuclear fire. It's not gonna be by water, but it's gonna be by thermal fire. It's gonna be by the nukes. It's gonna be by destruction. And so we just gotta prepare for that. The same way Noah went out and tried to warn the people is the same way we going out warning the people, but nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to understand what we're trying to present to them because it's a lack of faith, right? And it's prophesied that we will be in this time, right? So I wanted to go into that too. But if you want to finish this up before you go into Matthew, you can. And
Salakia. I wanted to add to that point that you made about in the days of Noah, and it hit me right when you said it that, you know, with the missiles of thermal destruction. Well, for what it's worth, we consider that a lake of fire, which you still need to be in a protective ark. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was nice how you put that together.
And then we gotta understand too, like, what is our ark nowadays? Like, you know what I'm saying? What is our refuge where we can get some type of protection? It's the brotherhood, it's being in Rum Gadol Gabarim, it's getting into some type of camp where you can build up your faith, because that's the only ark that we got right now, is to be able to have a school that we can learn from and build up our faith. You understand? Because without that, we'll be probably out here just like the rest of the folks, just not knowing what's to come. And then, you know, like just like in the times of Noah, when it started raining, they was just looking up like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have no time to turn back, and it was too late, right? And so, you know, we just got to understand, like, we are in that time of Noah, and we just got to get right. But you can go ahead and read Matthew up.
So like, what verse? Matthew.
We go to Matthew chapter 24, 37 through 39.
Okay. All right, you got it up. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 37. It says, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." Verse 38. "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark." Verse 39. "And knew not until the flood came and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be."
You see that? So, you know, we are in those times right now. And, you know, we just got to stay diligent and make sure that our faith is strong, and know that any day now, you know, things can pop off. Any day now, all hell could break loose. And, you know, we just want to make sure that our spirits is right. We in line with the Most High. Our faith is strong as strong as it could be. Because, you know, if we doubting, if we doing things behind the scenes, and, you know, we're not living in a righteous life and living correctly, you know, we're gonna be consumed with that fire, you know, instead of being able to be in them chariots while all destruction is happening. So we just got to stay focused, you know what I'm saying, and don't want to get caught off guard like the times of Noah. All right. So I'm going to my next phase. To finish this off, go ahead.
By faith, Noah was warned about the events that were still unseen, and with reverent fear, he constructed an ark to protect his family. Through his faith, he condemned the world and became an heir to righteousness that aligns with faith. Noah's faith was rooted in the invisible. He believed in the Most High's warnings, even when there were no tangible proof.
You see that? He didn't have any proof, understanding of what's going on, but he just said, you know what? I believe in you, Lord, and I'm going to follow your way. You know, you guided me on a certain path. This is what you want from me. I'm going to do it because I don't want my family to be condemned in this world. That's awesome. Like, I'm trying, if I can't save the people around me, most definitely I'm going to try to save my family. You know what I'm saying? The ones that's in my immediate circle. And that's what you got to do. Sometimes things around people don't want to hear you. but you got to save your family. You got to save the people around you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're doing it for, right? And sometimes you might not be able to see what the Most High has planned for you, but you got to know that there's a plan in the works behind the scenes. You understand? So, and we're gonna go to this next slide, right? Just to go into, and this rainbow is not the rainbow that they promote out here in these last days, but
Right.
but the Most High established a covenant promising never to destroy the earth with a flood again, and that's the reason why we have that rainbow in the sky. If you want to read it to Genesis 9:12 through 16, that's the scripture, right? But he's not going to flood this place again, but it will be destroyed by nuclear fire, and that's what's coming next. So you better prepare yourself and understand what's to come. You know what I'm saying, and have your faith strong as a needed. Have it strong as an ox. You understand? In these last days. All right.
That's a fact.
All right. So the next segment we're gonna go into is Abraham's faith in the Most High's promise. All right.
Hey, Abraham, I know that. Listen, I ponder on Abraham's faith often, because he don't make them like that no more.
Nah. And you can go like Abraham. You can go into a whole lesson just on Abraham. And Abraham was a powerful man. That was a powerful man. Powerful man. And these are examples that we can learn from, right? This is the blueprint, you know what I'm saying, to how to approach your life, how to protect your family, and how to lead them and guide them. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Abraham. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Abraham having a vision and believing in the Lord, and knowing that he wasn't going to be able to see the promises that the Most High told him that he was going to give to his family. But you know what? Abraham believed, and that's what we're going to go into real quick. All right. We're going to go into Hebrews 11:8-19.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go into a place which he should after receive for inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in the land of the promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in the tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which have foundations, whose builder and maker is God.
So the Most High is the builder and the maker, right? He's going to make everything established. He's the foundation of it all. So Abraham had to sojourn in the land, and he didn't know where he was going, but the Most High told him to go to this land, and he just had to go. And sometimes, your faith is having a vision. He might not understood what the Most High wanted, but he had a vision that it was something greater than himself. And sometimes you got to understand there's something greater than yourself going on around you, that you just got to believe. You just got to believe and understand that, things is happening. And the Most High is been involved, and the Most High has been having his hands on this whole thing till now, to the beginning of time. You know what I'm saying? And he's still working to this day. All right. So you can keep reading that.
Verse 11, Salakia. Through faith, also Sarah herself received strength to conceive, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised.
So she was, she was in the old age, and to have a child at that age, most definitely in these last days, it would be hard for a woman, you know what I'm saying? Hard for a sister, so that's to have strong faith in the Lord, and the Lord telling you that this is going to happen, That's a powerful testimony in itself, and I don't, I couldn't imagine someone going through that in these times, right? Especially in those times, there was no doctors, no hospitals, wasn't how it is now, where where you can have doctors there to make it smoother. You know what I'm saying? But that's a powerful testimony in itself. All right, keep reading.
Verse 12. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in the multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable.
Mm-hmm.
These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
You see that? So, he was going to die in his faith. He was going to die and not be able to see the promise. He knew that he was not going to be able to see the promise that the Most High told him was going to be, that where his family is going to be in these times or in the last days, right? And but he had a vision and he's seen it far off. There's going to be some things that might happen in your life or anybody's life that you're not going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to even experience it. We might not be able to see the last days in these times, but we could see it in our minds that, there's going to be a kingdom. There's going to be a kingdom on earth. Yahweh Shai is going to return and rule. Like you gotta have that vision in your mind that knowing that these things is going to happen. You got to have a vision in your mind that our people is going to wake up in these last days. You got to have it in your mind that, it's going to be hard to endure, but if you don't have the faith, you're gonna get wiped out, right? So you got to know that, and you got to see it before you believe it too. You got to have a vision in your mind, understand that it's going to happen, right?
Salakia, really quick too, to go back a little bit on Sarah. And you talking about vision, right?
Right.
It was a little hard for her to deal with the vision, right? Because the scripture talked about how she laughed. You know what I'm saying? When she heard the news, she was like, "What?" Like I'm like, "Oh," you know what I'm saying? But Abraham was able to see the vision, and he was able to have enough faith to lead, to walk into the vision and the plan of the Most High.
So that's facts. And, Marie, right, having seen them far off and was persuaded of them and embraced them, you know what I'm saying? And confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. We are strangers and pilgrims on the earth. We just passing through. You know what I'm saying? And we got to understand that we got to have that same vision in ourselves that, it's something greater that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that we be able to be partakers of that promise that the Most High has blessed us with, you know what I'm saying? And it's heavy, you know what I'm saying? It's heavy, you know what I mean? And we just, you got to stand on your faith, but learn from examples like Abraham and Noah. All right, you can keep reading. And if y'all got something to say, y'all can say it too. I know it's a lot in this.
For verse 14, for they that say much things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had an opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly one. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. By faith,
he's preparing a city for his family. He's preparing a city for his seeds, but they're preparing to go back to the Heavenly Father, knowing that they just not gonna make it to that country that was promised to them. But they're doing their part, and we all got to do our part. We all got to lay our brick down and understand that we might not see it, visualize it, but we have to have our vision. We might not see it with our own eyes, but we can visualize it in our minds. And that's what we have to have in these last days. All right. You can go and keep reading that.
By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he sat And he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
You see that?
Hey,
So,
Salakia.
go ahead.
I was thinking about this. It's interesting how the examples of faith are laid out, whereas Noah, his example was saving his family. And Abraham example is he had to offer up his family. He had to put his family through the ringer. Sarah, like the brother Apayat brought out, Sarah had to go through birth, and Abraham had to tie his boy up. Like,
God.
faith is such an interesting aspect. It's so many. I don't even know the word for it, but it's different levels of faith that come with the territory of the word.
God, and that's powerful. And I was thinking the other day that faith, when you read all the scriptures about faith and what they've been through and how it all ends up differently. You know what I'm saying? Every the end result is always different. You know what I'm saying? And you might not, some reap the benefits of their faith and some did not reap the benefits of their faith. But they still had the vision and stuck with the vision, and they believed in the Most High, that it was something greater going on that they just had to be involved with. You know what I'm saying? And that's just powerful right there in itself. You know what I mean? That's, it's just powerful. And I love to hear about faith. I'm a man of faith. We all a man of faith. I think, you know what I'm saying? I think we just have to stand on it and learn from these scriptures, man, because when you read it, I don't know who's listening, but whoever listening, when you get time, read Hebrews 11. It goes into the story of faith, you know what I'm saying, and how to stay strong and how they overcame. All right. So
one more point on the contrasting of Abraham and Noah, right? And we're just talking about vision, right? So Noah was able to he received instructions that was hard to be understood, yet he followed through and carried the instructions out, right? And he was able to actually see a tremendous or a significant part of the end result, right? He built the ark and he just followed the instructions of the Most High, even until the waters, abated and went down, and the boat basically parked, if you will, right? Well, Abraham didn't get to see the fullness of the vision that he was given, right? He was blessed and was given a good bit of the reward of the Most High for him personally, but he didn't get to see his children into the promised land and so on and so on. You know what I mean? He didn't get to see his children become as numerous as the stars of the sky and the sands of the sea. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's an interesting dynamic. You talk about like how the situations were, at least Noah was kind of able to kind of see it all the way through to an extent, versus Abraham, just his faith was so tremendous that he believed the Most High and didn't even have to see it. It's kind of like that precept where Yahushua says something to the effect of blessed are they who something to the effect of blessed are they who hear the word but don't see it, or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
We're going into that.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that point out really quick.
But I would add to that to say, well, Noah got to see some, like you say, bits and pieces, but his faith had to make where he had to trust a bird that he was in the right spot.
That's a fact.
And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo, man, I want you to fly out. And when you get to the point of, when we hit the land, come on back. Like, you trust in the bird. Well, you trust in the Most High to work through the bird, but it's still the fact that, man, he doesn't even speak bird, brother. You know what I'm saying? He got to communicate a whole vision to a bird to make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I went into No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and to the flip side, Abraham got at least a chance.
Yeah.
He seen Isaac and he seen Ishmael.
Yeah.
So he may have not seen the fullness of the innumerable aspect.
Yeah.
He got a chance to see the seed.
He was given like a sample of sorts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When he had them sons, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. You know, I got boys." You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's
right.
what it is at this point.
Right.
That's facts. Nah, but that's powerful, brothers. It's powerful.
God.
And we're gonna keep moving. You know what I'm saying? I know we got a little bit more to do.
Let's keep going.
But yeah, you know, Abraham is you know, like they said, it's the Hall of Faith. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in the Hall of Fame of faith. You know what I'm saying? He's like the top. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know anybody that could beat Abraham right now in that faith category. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's different levels of faith. You know what I'm saying? And the end result to faith is different for everybody. All right. We're gonna go into this, break that down. This is to close it out on Abraham. But you know, when you get some time, just you know, read more scriptures about Abraham and you know, and read on what he did and what he contributed to this nation. You know what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Abraham and his faith.
Okay. It says Abraham's faith in the Yahweh promise. Yahweh called Abraham to leave his homeland and journey to an unknown land. He believed Yahweh's promise that he would become the father of many nations, and his faith was tested when God commanded him to sacrifice Isaac, but he trusted that God would provide.
And that's heavy to just, you know, the Most High telling you to sacrifice your son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That has to take some major faith to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And these times somebody did that, you know, hey, we be cast into prison, man.
Yeah, you would get a whole CPS case. You know, but also think about this too. Like, you know, he was told to sacrifice his son. He was told to sacrifice his son, his first son, and the only son at the time, I guess, right? And he had already waited several years to where he was in his old age. So it's like, I've made you wait all this long time to have this son. Now you got to kill him. That's tough,
heavy.
right?
That's tough. That's tough. That'll stress a brother out right there. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm stressed out hearing it again. You know what I'm saying? Just,
like that'd be like, man, you know, and that's just, you can't have no doubt. You know what I'm saying? And you know, that's a powerful testimony in itself, man. And you know, just imagine having to go through that in these last days right now. You know what I'm saying? It'd be some question and some doubt. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
It'd be some question and some doubt. You know? But you know, the evil people on this earth, they doing it on the left side too as well. You get what I'm saying?
Hey, yo, man. You ain't in the truth, man, unless you're willing to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give up your only son.
You get what I'm saying?
You know?
That's powerful, brother.
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna keep moving on to the next one. Going into faith needs a vision, right? Just showing emphasis on having a vision and staying focused on the path. And sometimes the Most High he puts a vision inside of you that you just gotta follow through with. You know what I'm saying? And you just gotta continue pushing forward, right? So, and we know that without a vision, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be hard for you to even accomplish anything in this life. You know, your vision is your purpose. Your vision is your motivation. Your vision, you know, is everything. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a vision for yourself, for your family, for your health, for you just as a person, it's going to be hard for you to rise up in these last days. So you got to have a vision for yourself and its truth. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you might be at a certain level, but you got to think of yourself higher than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, where I'm at now as a Gabar Malak, I want to be better next year. I want to be better in the 6 months. I want to be better. You know what I'm saying? There's some things I want to accomplish before Passover. Like, it's a lot of things that you got to do for yourself, and you just got to stick with that vision, man. All right? You go ahead and read that verse out.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
So we blessed as a people to be able to see our people waking up, to be able to even just visualize the scriptures, you know what I'm saying, in our mind as a movie, and to be able to play it in our minds, and excuse me, and to read to understand what's going on in the scriptures and have a vision for it, you know what I'm saying? And we are blessed to even hear the word in these last days and be able to read the scriptures and build up our faith. You know what I'm saying? The only way that we build up our faith, like the scriptures say, or one of the ways that we build up our faith, is by hearing the word. And that's a blessing, to be able to hear the word and hear God's word and hear the words that Yahweh Shah spoke in the parables and the wisdom. Like, we are blessed. So we have to take advantage of that and don't take it for granted. All right.
Verse 17. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which you hear, and have not heard them.
So like Noah, Abraham, like they would have loved to see where we are at right now to this day, to see the nation of Israel is spread out and how we have multiplied in the sands of the sea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he would have loved to see that. You know what I'm saying? He would have loved to see us getting waking up in our captivity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a beautiful thing that we are witnessing now, you know, and we have to appreciate it in these last days. You know what I'm saying? You can go ahead. You can read that one more time. I want to grab a scripture real quick.
For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them.
Let me grab the scripture real quick.
I would just add to this point right here about you saying how they would have loved to see it. It's so interesting because to a certain degree, they'd have mixed feelings too, because it's like, dang, y'all went off this bad. But at the same token, it's like, okay, I see the remnants. I see my entire family. And then they see the captivity, be like, dang, it's imposters around here too. Like, it's, you know, it's one of them things. But for those who didn't see it in that day, and they get a chance to actually bring that out and see those seeds being planted, it would be wonderful.
It would be wonderful, you know, knowing that what you was putting your hands on, you wasn't going to be able to see, but knowing that it was going to be a great outcome, that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? You contribute to a lot, but just wasn't able to see the benefits. Yeah, that's a blessing. I would want to see it too. You know what I'm saying? Let me get Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It's just something I want to bring out. And then read to 4.
The Habakkuk chapter 2 and 3.
2 and 3, and 4. Yeah, read all the way to 4.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak.
So at the time of Noah, the time of Abraham, the vision that he's seen and the vision that he had to put his heart in, he wasn't going to be able to see the reward from it with his own eyes, but he felt it in his spirit. His spirit bear witness to it. But now it's speaking now. You know what I'm saying? We could read the scriptures to this day. We could read the scriptures and understand that you know, what they have to endure, and the reason why we are here to this day. You understand? And it's speaking now, and it's no lie. All right, keep reading.
Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
God.
Verse
Right.
4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith.
Right. So the just shall live by faith alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's gonna keep you alive. That's what's gonna keep you going. That's what kept Abraham going. You know what I'm saying? Is his faith. You know, and
It gives you fuel to endure to the end.
it gives you fear to endure to the end. You know what I'm saying? And that's in these last days we have to live by faith. Also stand on the commandments, stand on his word, and just keep enduring, because you know whatever the Most High said that's going to happen, it's going to happen, and we just got to wait for it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just where it's at with it. So just to double back on just the vision, having a vision, we got to stick to the vision, stick to the plan, and not change the script. You know, the Most High already wrote this movie out, and we just got to let it fall through. You know what I'm saying? And we just playing a role in this movie at this point, and we just got to make sure we on the right supporting cast, and not on the doing stuff on the left side. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
You know, I want to be the Denzel in my movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, not Training Day, but them other ones. But we gonna go to the next verse, Proverbs 29 and 18.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, and verse number 18.
God.
It says, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Mhm.
But he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
God. So, like I said, you gotta have a vision. If you don't have a vision, you don't have faith. You know, faith is hardening your vision into fact. So you just gotta focus on the vision, focus on what God got planned for us as a nation, what He has planned for you as an individual. You know what I'm saying? What He has planned for you as a family, and understand and just stick with it. Because without that, you're gonna perish out here. So you gotta have some goals for yourself, and you gotta have some faith to endure, right? And I'll read this part. It says, faith is having goals, inspiration. You might not get there. Faith is having inspiration. You might not get there, but you will need to have it in the end result, to have it in the end result in your mind. So basically, I wrote that wrong. But you gotta have that inspiration inside yourself, and understanding. You have to have the end result in your mind, that, you know, I am going to get there, because that's the whole purpose of faith, is knowing that you might not be there now, but you have a vision that, man, I will get there. And eventually you will, if you keep focusing on it, and you keep focusing on that faith, and you keep having that determination and that tenacity, right? And keep fighting for it, right? We're gonna go to the next slide. Having faith as a mustard seed.
The classic.
Class.
Matthew chapter 17 and verse number 20, it says, and Yahushua said unto them, because of your unbelief, for I verily say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall move, and nothing shall be impossible unto you.
You know, you just gotta have that faith as a mustard seed. And you see how small one of those mustard seeds is, right? So it don't take much, but you just have to believe in something. You got to believe in the Lord. You got to believe that things will change in your life, and that mountain could be bills. That mountain could be getting your health together. That mountain could be working on your marriage. That mountain can be anything in your life. But if you have faith as a mustard seed, the Most High can remove those things out of your life and put something more better that will preserve you and keep you striving in these last days. All right. And it won't be impossible to accomplish. It won't be impossible to reach. All right. But it might take one brick at a time, one goal at a time, one positive thought at a time, and eventually, you know, you will remove that that mountain. All right. So it's just the classic scripture. Just keep your faith, you know what I'm saying, and keep striving. All right. Go to the next one. We're almost to the finish line. Faithful unto death. This is a heavy story. This is a heavy, you know, one of the heavy ones for me. Just a mother, you know, standing on her faith in the last days, and was to see her children get basically murdered in front of her, and having to witness her children get murdered, but at the same time standing on the faith and standing on what she believed in and just leaning on the Lord in these last days. We ain't got to go through every scripture, but I just want to go through a few scriptures just to show how strong this mother was, you know what I'm saying, in these last days. I mean, strong, how I want to go into how strong this sister was, and how we could learn from it. And she was a great example of just, you know, being faithful unto death. All right.
You want to start from the top, Lord?
Yeah, you could go from the top.
All right. 2 Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 1. It came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips.
So that's heavy right there, is that, you know, you getting tested and they're forcing you to eat pork. They're forcing you to eat swine. And, you know, this mother is standing on all 10 and not giving in. She's not breaking. She's not, you know, taking that chance to go against the Lord, right? She's standing on her faith. And that's heavy in itself, is that, you know, even in these times, we got to stand on our faith. You know, they're trying to force pork down our face now. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to have to stand on our faith eventually one day. It might not be in this time, but it might be in our children's time or whenever. But it's going to be a time where you're going to have to stand on what you believe in. And it might be unto death, right? And we have to be ready for that as well. All right. Keep reading.
Verse 2. But one of them that spake first said thus, what wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Right.
You see that? That's heavy. You know, I'm ready to die instead of to eat your pork. I'm ready to die than to follow your wicked ways. Right.
Right.
I believe in the Most High, and the Most High is going to see me through. And whatever you're going to do to me, you're going to do to me. But the Most High got, you can kill my flesh, but you can't kill my spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Verse 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. Verse 4. Which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the utmost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on.
You know, that's heavy. And, you know, just to witness your son, you know, get cut up, and, you know, tongue get cut out. Like, you know, that's heavy in itself. You know what I'm saying? And, you know,
deep torture.
Just straight torture, just wickedness. You know what I'm saying? And they just standing firm on what the Lord, standing on the Lord and just trusting in the Lord, you know. And that's the type of faith we're going to have in these last days, because just what they're doing now, it's nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to leave it there. You can go to verse 9 now.
Hey, Salakia, read 5. You gotta get.
All right, it's a long stretch. So if y'all want to read, let's read the whole thing then, because I was just trying to.
Yeah, it's whatever you call.
Then jump to 9.
Nah, go ahead, keep reading.
All right, so verse 5 in chapter 7, 2nd Maccabees, it says, "Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire, and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they extorted Salakia, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus."
Mm. That's heavy.
Yeah,
Keep it. Yeah, that's heavy. I mean, it's playing upon tables. Like that's some major torture. You know what I'm saying? Getting fried in a pan, basically like a piece of chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's just wild. Keep reading.
yeah.
You mean like a piece of bacon, Bob?
Yeah, some turkey bacon.
He was fried on the basis of not eating that swine. And see, they was used to frying that pig. This is why they heat those cauldrons.
Con.
Verse 6, the Lord, verse 5 ended, he was about to go into a speech. So it says in verse 6, "The Lord God looketh upon us, and in truth hath comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, and he shall be comforted in his servants." Verse 7, "So when the first was dead after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock. And when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, Wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body?" Verse 8, "But he answered in his own language, and said, No. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did."
That brother said, "La
Yeah, I'm not taking it. I don't want to eat it. Like, whatever you're gonna do to me, go ahead.
Right.
Going
standing
to
on it.
You're standing on it, and in his own language, he said no.
You know what I'm saying?
And keep reading.
Verse 9, "And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury, thou like a fury takest us out of this present life. But the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life."
You got to understand that, they're going to try to persecute you, kill you, and do everything in the book to try to take you out of here. But, the Most High is going to raise us up in the end. He has the last laugh. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we have to remember that regardless of what happens, regardless of what comes to us or steps on our front door, you know what I'm saying? We just got to stand on it and, defend your faith. And this is what you call defending your faith. Might not be going precept to precept and battling with the precepts. It might not be about that in them last days. It's going to be about how you going to stand on your faith. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to be able to bring no precepts out when they got your body and they trying to do this to you. You know what I'm saying? So
you're going to have to bring them out to yourself.
Yeah, you're going to have to utilize some scriptures and have it in your mind. Like, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
Coming
out.
I think you have verse 10, right?
Yep. Verse 10. "After him was the third made a mocking stock, and when he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully." Verse 11, "And said courageously, These I had from heaven, and for his laws I despise them, and from him I hope to receive them again." Verse 12, "Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains." Salakia, that made me think about that place in Romans where Paul says how the heathen blaspheme the name of the Most High because of the behavior of the saints, right?
Mhm.
Well, this brother did the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like his faith was so tremendous, his courage was so great that they marveled. You know, it doesn't say that they blessed the Most High or anything like that. That the king and the wicked ones that was putting them through this, but
Yeah.
it gave such a tremendous testimony that it's almost like Nebuchadnezzar and these other kings had to just marvel at
Mm.
how mightily they stood on it, you know.
Come on.
And to add is they stood so strong that he didn't even feel the pain in this one. They say he
Mm.
said he regarded nothing the pains.
Mm.
That
Come,
means when he was making his stands and they clipped off what they was gonna clip off, he did what Yahushua did when they punched him in the face and spat on him. He
Mm.
opened not his mouth,
Mm.
come,
you know. So heavy.
That's
come.
real heavy. And, you know, you gotta think what age was these young men too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a good question.
you know what I'm saying? They could have been teenagers. You know what I'm saying? It says young men, so you know
Come out.
they could have been under 20. Like, you know, I got a son that's about to turn 19. You know, real soon. And,
Come.
you know, so I couldn't imagine just 19-year-old standing on business like this. It's heavy. You know what I mean? Of course, they're gonna be marveled at that. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. Verse 13, it says, "Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in the like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good being put to death by men, to look for hope from God, to be raised up again by him.
Mm.
As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life."
Mm.
Verse 15, afterward they brought the fifth also and mangled him.
Mm.
Then looked he unto the king and said, Thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible, thou dost what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of God.
Mm.
Like Salakia, that's like Yahushua saying, fear not him who has the power to destroy the body, fear him who has the power to destroy the body and soul in hell, right?
Come.
Verse 17, but abide a while and behold his great power, how will torment thee, Salakia, how he will torment thee in thy seed.
Come. That's,
After
you
him,
know, yeah, just, you know, you gotta understand that sometimes you gotta put vengeance in the Most High's hands. You know, the vengeance is gonna be in the Most High's hands, and you know what they did to us, they're gonna get done. You know, it's gonna come back around. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High sees everything.
that's a fact. Verse 18, after him also they brought out the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our God.
Mm.
Therefore, marvelous things are done unto us. Now look at the accountability of that, right?
Yeah. So,
Verse 19, but think not thou that takest in hand to strive against God, that thou shalt escape unpunished. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable memory, for when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she
mm.
bare it with a good courage, because of the hope she had in the Lord.
Mm.
Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and
Mm.
stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach. She said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you, but
Mm.
doubtless the creator of the world who formed the generation of man found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as you now regard not your own selves for his law's sake. Verse 24. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both a rich and happy man if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend and trust him with affairs.
It's heavy. Tried to bribe him to be rich, to give him a great life. And that's how they do it nowadays. They try to give you the easy way out, give you money. It's like selling your soul right here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's another version of that. And I'm not taking it. I don't want it. I'm about to die. I die about mine than to sell my soul to you wicked Edomites.
Con.
Period.
Con out.
We can go to 28.
Verse 28. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth and all that is therein, and consider that God made them of things that were not, and also Salakia, and so was mankind made likewise.
Khan, just like I brought out earlier, just having faith in creation. You know what I'm saying? Consider what God made and look upon it, and know that it's something more than what you can see to the eye. You know what I mean?
Khan. Verse 29. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with my brethren. Verse 30. Whilst she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, whom ye wait for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses.
And let me see. Just trying to see where we're going to end it off at.
Yeah, this is a tremendous passage. It's so much that you can unpack from this.
It is.
The level of faith they had, the devotion to the law that they had, the accountability that they took for breaking the law, even if it wasn't them personally, but the accountability of saying like, well, our people, we did this, so this is what the Lord said would happen, and then furthermore, it's a breakdown in there about, the regeneration of the resurrection as well, showing how they held to that, this is solid for sure.
You can go to 37.
Verse 37. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching God that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is God. Powerful. Verse 38. And that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. Verse 39. Then the kings, being in a rage, handed him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died undefiled and put his whole trust in the Lord. Last of all, after the sons of the mother died, let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feasts and extreme tortures.
That's heavy in itself. I mean, this, I read this and I'm just like, man, that's a powerful testimony. And then it's like to be able to go through all this without I don't even hear a husband there. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like a single mother. You know what I'm saying? Going through this with her children and her sons and having to like take it manfully and be able to, like, you know, that's a strong woman, you know what I'm saying? And some strong sons that she raised up.
That's
And
a fact.
you know, and it's just something we can learn from, and just pray that, you know, we could teach our families and our sons can stand on business when it comes to when they leave our homes, and they could be able to stand on what we believe, what we taught them. You get what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
And it don't go astray, and it don't go out one ear and out the other, and that it can penetrate them. You know what I'm saying? And be able to stand like these young men right here. You know what I'm saying? So um this is like the end of what I wanted to bring out. I got a conclusion, all right? But you know, we just gotta stand on our faith and learn from the scriptures, and use it as fuel, and be edified, and just, you know, learn from it. You know, we was a rebellious generation. You know, we've come from a bit rebellious generation that did not seek the Lord. You know, and we just like these young men is, you know, they held themselves accountable for what they did wrong, and I think that's one step to having faith. Is like, hey, I messed up, but Lord, I'm about to continue. I'm gonna continue on though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give up just because I messed up. I'm just gonna hold myself accountable, dust myself off, and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? So I read the conclusion. The conclusion: when you open your heart to the possibility that there is more to life than what meets the eye, the divine recognize this as a virtue place you could trust in the Most High and hold Him in reverence. We are called to uphold His commandments, laws, statutes for eternity, forever. Regardless of the challenges we face, we must place our unwavering faith in the Most High with all our hearts, and avoid relying solely on our own judgment or leaning onto our own understanding when making decisions or navigating uncertain circumstances. Instead, lean into your faith and trust wholeheartedly, and do not waver in doubt. All right. So with that, I just want to say shalom. Thank y'all for, you know, y'all brothers for just even being here, you know, building with me, and hopefully, you know, somebody out there get edified and strengthen up their faith, because it's a characteristics that you need to endure, and use the scriptures as a blueprint to learn from, and to know what to do and what not to do, you know. And with that being said, I just want to say shalom, and the water for y'all listening.
Come really quick. There's a couple precepts I had in mind that I just kind of wanted to touch on really fast before we close all the way out. It's going into a couple points that we discussed. I wanted to just kind of save them, just in case you had them in your deck and you want to jump the gun. You know what I'm saying? This is Matthew chapter 18 and verse number 3. It says, "Verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven." So we talked about how you have to have the lesson is about faith, and how it's impossible to please the Most High unless you have faith. And we talked about these examples of faith. You know, another great example of faith is a child. You know what I'm saying? You know, we have families and kids here, and we know that how impressionable children are, and how much they just believe you just off the strength, or just off your word. You know, they take you at your word. If you say do thus and so, if you tell them that the sky, that color in the sky is actually green and it's not blue, they're gonna believe you that the sky is green. You know what I'm saying? So just that level of belief is crucial. The innocence of that faith is amazing. And another point that I wanted to touch on too was the aspect of faith actually is something that is given to you, right? So it says
Romans 12 and 3, y'all.
Hey, look, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to that one first or this one in Mark I got, but I'm gonna read this Romans 3:12-3 first since you called it. It says, Romans chapter 12 verse 3 says, For I say through grace given unto me, every man that is among you not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as God hath dealt to every man the measure of faith, right? So that demonstrates that faith is something that the Most High gives to us in a certain measure in accordance to how He sees fit, right? But also to lamb back off there, right? You have Mark chapter 9, I believe this is Mark chapter 9 and verse number 23. Yahushua said unto him, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth, right? He's having a conversation, right? And so verse 24, it says, And straightway the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief, right? So even though your faith is given in measure, the Most High can grant you more faith. You know what I'm saying? And Christ advocates for us to have that same faith. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to throw them precepts in there really quick.
I think you're gonna have to end up doing a part 2.
Yeah.
Because you really gotta show at least when you remember how we was talking earlier and we was talking about how there's so many facets of faith. I think there's an aspect that has to be touched on in part 2 about they become examples of faith because they didn't even believe. Like I'll give you the example of what I'm talking about. Like take the brother that was at the I think he was at the well. And Christ was like, do you want to be made whole? And he was like, anybody gonna put me in the water? Because every time I get ready to try to go,
that was paralyzed,
look over me.
Yeah.
And he's healed on the strength that he wants to be healed, but there's indications in the book of John beyond him, shall I say, that there are people who have no knowledge of Christ coming, but Christ decides to heal them, and they then have faith as a result of that. The last thing deals with how your friend's faith can impact you. Then maybe that's part 3.
Nah, but you're right, because I felt like this needed to be broken down into like multiple classes. You know what I'm saying? It's so much you can go into that you could break down, and I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to go into a part 2. We got to go into a part 2.
100%. Let's do it.
Saying? So you got to put that on the schedule.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a well-needed topic to be dealt with.
Absolutely.
This is one of those things that it don't even matter how much precepts or how many debates you can get into. If your faith is lacking, if your faith is void, then it don't even matter.
It don't matter.
You have all of this head knowledge, but no spiritual power in faith, and it profits you not. We gotta keep dealing with this topic for sure.
This probably will be an ongoing one, because there's, like you said, there's multiple layers to it. It's almost like when you're born or regenerated back into this earthly realm. It's like the Lord is like, you remember playing Mario and you had to choose your character. It's kind of how your faith level is. It's like choose your person, and your person being choose the amount of faith in the life you think that you need, and it's just like, okay, today I want to be Luigi, and you go through Luigi style life, you die and you come back. Well, this time I want to be Browser. You know what I'm saying? So much needed lesson, and it's a lesson to go back and to continue to listen to the precepts that you pull and the summaries that you honed in on as well. So that's very, very important.
That's a fact. And the folks that's tapped in, it's your responsibility to go read the whole chapter and the whole narrative about Noah and Abraham. Go read the whole narrative. Don't just take the few passages that we extracted. Go get the whole piece so that what we're bringing now have more context. So
that's
definitely
facts.
Appreciate this this breakdown for sure, Lord.
It was a lot. I had a lot to break down. You know what I'm saying? Going into faith, different topics. I just have to narrow it down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like it's so much. I'm like, what? I'm just gonna choose 2 or 3. Because going to 4 to 5 to 6, it would have been too much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's a fact.
I think you did it right. I think you did it right.
Most definitely.
I appreciate y'all.
For certain.
I think I had one preset that was going good with like just the last segment that we bring out is Romans 12:1. It just says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by mercies of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And how the young men, basically presented themselves as a living sacrifice, knowing that they was about to die. Abraham presented himself as a living sacrifice of just sacrificing his son, and him at old age. You know what I'm saying? And so just us being in this truth, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a time. Well, it's right now we presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice and doing what we have to do the will of the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
It was reasonable for the brothers in Maccabees to die for the sake of the law. That's reasonable. You know what I'm saying? It's reasonable service. I'm not saying that there's easy service, but it's reasonable service. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the Lord, the instructions of the Lord are clear. He didn't say only don't eat pork when it's convenient for you not to eat pork. He didn't say don't eat shrimp, crab, and lobster, unless there's other options available. He said no, don't eat that.
Yeah. Hey, and since everybody gave me preset, let me get one then. All right, but this ties in both of you guys' point very well. It's the book of Luke, chapter 12 and verse 48, which says, "But he that knew not and did commit things worthy of stripes shall be beaten with few stripes." And here's the point I wanted to harp on. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall much be required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more. So to that much is given, much is required. Going back to that Romans 12:3 and that Maccabees 7, if your faith has a measure, these guys' measure of faith was to their capacity. Therefore, what was required was action to capacity, which is the ultimate, which is the sacrifice. You got to go through that suffering. We see that also in Yahushua as him, battling this back and forth with his cup being filled, and and he's decided that now the less, not my will, but thy will. So I'll end with that. You know what I'm saying?
Solid landing.
That's a stamp on it right there.
God.
All right,
sir. We can go out the same way we came in. Salakia.
What was it?
Mark.
Mark 12 and 20 something.
Mark chapter 12 and
12
verse
and 29.
Yep. And Yahushua answered him, the first of all commandments is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord.
And that's in the Hebrew, Shema Yasha'ala, Yahweh Elohayna, Yahweh Echad.
Amen.
Amen.